we ready for one of our favorite series, at least one of my favorite series, speed reviews? Today I have 20 makeup products that I am going to be giving you an update on. If you're new to my channel, I love a speed review. This is one of my most frequent series, I would say, that I do on my channel. I test a product. I promise you, you're not going to see it just once on my channel. I'm going to continue to test it. And these are the final updates, final thoughts on these products. I've officially used these products in multiple ways with multiple wear tests, multiple products where I can give you my final opinion on them after pretty thoroughly testing these. So I have 20 in today's video, a little bit of a smaller speed reviews, but quality over quantity, right? We have some good products. So let's go ahead and get started with the complexion portion. So this first one, it was sitting in my speed reviews drawer for a while simply because I just don't love a product like this. This is from Natasha Denona. It's the Hygiene Bronze Energizing and Hydrating Primer Serum. Now the formulation of this is beautiful. This is just a shade that she dropped this summer, and I love the original one. It's just like a lighter glowy one. It's not a bronzy one. This is a thicker serum consistency, but for my dry skin, I love it, and I find that it does come through on the makeup that I put over top. So especially if you have dry skin and you like a glow, this formulation is gorgeous. It's effective. It's great before makeup. However, the bronze shade, I didn't reach for as much because you see the demo, I look dirty, okay? But the reason that I use it today is I do actually like to use a bronze shade like this occasionally if the product that I'm putting over top is a little bit too light on me. So in this case, it worked for today, but that's not always the case. So don't use this shade often, but I do recommend this formula. This one also was sitting in my speed reviews drawer longer than I would like, not because I didn't like it, but because it's way too light for me. And though I didn't get much sun this summer, I must have gotten a little bit more tan because this does match me a lot better now. Though if you're a skin tone match with me, don't get this shade. But I did pick up the Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint a while ago, but I really love this. I got the shade T3, so it was too light. So especially this summer, I wasn't using it. But with the combination of this and a bronzing serum like the Natasha Denona, I've been able to make this work. This is beautiful. It's like a creamy milk for the skin. Obviously, it gives really light coverage, but it looks really hydrating, and it's so thin that sometimes I'll even put it on my under eyes as well. Extremely hydrating. This is a gorgeous, luxurious product. It reminds me a lot of the new Armani skin tint, but this is even creamier and a little bit better. It's a shame I'm stupid and purchased such a light shade for myself, but we're at the point in the year where with a little bit of adjustments I can get it to work. So I've been wearing this honestly all week. I've brought it back out and I've re-fallen in love with it. I think it's a beautiful lightweight skin tint that's hydrating. Highly recommend for dry skin. Wears beautifully, looks a little bit glowy. It doesn't stick to any dry patches. I have nothing but good things to say about this gorgeous skin tint, and it just like soaks into the skin beautifully as you spread it out. This is a gorgeous product. I ordered this on your guys' recommendation, so thank you. It's a gorgeous product. Another beautiful skin tint style product that I love is the Chantecaille Future Skin Oil Free Gel Foundation. Now, I've talked about this for years, so why is it in a speed review? It's because a few months ago, they reformulated this. Always scary a reformulation because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there's so many reasons for a reformulation. So this one, they say it's infused with more skincare ingredients. I'm just here to confirm. Doesn't seem any different to me. This is still the beautiful oil-free gel foundation that I fell in love with years and years ago. It just blends into the skin, extremely hydrating. It's a little thicker with its gel consistency than the Eldridge, which is much more watery, but these have a similar effect on the face. This one's just a little bit thicker, and it's lightweight. Your skin can breathe through it. Of course, it's going to give super light coverage as well, which I'm able to get a little bit more coverage when I pair it with concealers and whatnot, but this has been a favorite everyday foundation of mine for years. If you don't mind your freckles and stuff coming through, you just want a hydrated look that's a little bit more even, I highly recommend it. This feels like a skincare product because it essentially is. Chantecaille, in my opinion, does their best work when it comes to their skincare, even though it is very expensive. But that's like a hybrid product where it's like a skincare moisturizer, but also evens out the color of your skin tone all in one. Recommended that for years. If you have sensitive skin, it's phenomenal product. Just wanted to update with that reformulation. We are still loving it. Now, this one is such a good, affordable product. We just talked about some very expensive items. Beauty Creations, I think, is such an underrated brand when it comes to affordable brands. So they launched this natural cream blend highlight and contour palette. Kind of reminds me of the Makeup Forever, but this is a complete different creamy, melty, malleable consistency. If you have oily skin, I wouldn't recommend this because I mean, it slips and slides if you're not careful, if you don't have the proper base and setting and all of that. But I've loved how creamy this is with skin tints in particular because it kind of just blends and melts into those skin tints. I've been loving this past week for quick throw on 5-minute face, Lisa Eldridge skin tint, and then I'll melt this shade right here into the skin, but it is super duper creamy, so do keep that in mind. But I do love this little palette. And then I also use this peach shade to brighten my under eyes. Sometimes I'll put it on top of concealer. It's not like the most smoothing, but again, it's almost like you're painting to highlight the face. And sometimes I'll mix in some of this if I want to get a little bit deeper. Now, I don't use every single shade in this, so that is something you want to keep in mind. I have the shade Sand. They do offer different colors, but the shades that I do use, which are 3 of them, I really enjoy. This palette has a little bit of a yellowy undertone, but I really love it. It's a great price point and it's really, really creamy. Comparing it to the Makeup Forever cream palettes, if you're familiar with those are a little bit more dry, not in a bad way, but just compared to the two. This is a cream that will never dry down, so keep that in mind. But I've been enjoying that thoroughly. I think it's a great, great product. I have a few blush products as well, since, you know, we're in this blush boom, and but for what seems like the last 2 years. But these are actually a brand new product, but luckily I've been testing it for a while because I got my hands on it early. Oh, so this new launch is from Jane Iredale. These are the Color Luxe liquid blushes. So I went on a trip with them a couple of months ago and they revealed these to us, sent us home with every color, literally, as you can see with the shades. These are not necessarily lab samples, but you see they didn't have the final packaging down on these. So I've been using these off camera for the last couple of months. These are a nice, really lightweight blush. These I would recommend more so for thinner bases like skin tints or even on bare skin because they are a very liquidy consistency, but you can build up the pigment if you want. I don't find that they break up anything underneath. Really beautiful, sheers out really nice if you don't like too heavy of a blush, and a gorgeous color range. No complaints on these. My biggest thing of these really is due to their thinner nature. Like I said, I do prefer to apply them with skin tints or just a thinner base in general, but they're really gorgeous and natural. Here's a photo of the swatches for all of these blushes. If you want some shade racks, Cinnamon Girl is the perfect toasty fall blush. The shade that I demoed was Wild Child, which is that peachy shade. And then you guys know I like my neutral peach or my neutral pinky blushes, Sugar Magnolia. So these are the 3 that I've been using the most. You can also layer them and mix them, and it's just overall very, very solid liquid blush formula that's a little less intense if you feel like the liquid blushes are a bit too intense for you with the ones that are coming out. The other liquid blush that I've been testing is from Moira. Moira comes out with some amazing products as well at a pretty affordable price point. These are the Love Steady Shimmer blushes. So the shades that I have, the deeper one is That Girl, and then the lighter one is Dreamful. I wanted to like these. They're okay. I guess I do like them, but I don't love these. They're very, very shimmer heavy, which is the name, the intention of the product, but I find that it looks like textured on my cheek. I can see the little glimmer particles. It's just not smooth on the cheek. I like a glow, I guess, not necessarily a shimmer. I don't have any issues with the application of these. The consistency is great. These are just the colors that I kept for myself, but I don't feel a need to keep any more colors because I just don't love this formula. I don't see myself reaching for it. The shimmer in here is too literal. It's too PC, and I can kind of see it on my face. So I did not end up loving these, unfortunately. And it's not like a tragedy. When I put it on my face, it looks okay. But as somebody who does this for a living, you guys know I need to be picky. And there's just better out there. I'm not reaching for this beyond it being in my speed reviews, sure. And then the last blush, I don't know why this took me so long to throw this in a speed reviews video because it's so good. I've been enjoying it. This is from Sephora Collection and it's kind of a banger. It's a really good pickup at Sephora without breaking the bank at Sephora. This is the Blush 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 Trio, and I have the shade Candy Lover. Very, very high quality product. I know sometimes people feel like Sephora collection can be hit or miss and they're constantly changing their stock and reformulating, but this is a great product. So we have a cream blush right here. Obviously I chose the brightest pink color. Then we have a matte blush and then a blush that's not quite a flat finish, but both of these are powders. I will say between the flat and the, I guess, satin finish, they aren't different enough for me. I would have liked the satin finish to be a little bit more shimmery, almost like a highlight blush hybrid, because I think they look a little too similar. But beyond that, this is really great quality and a gorgeous product. And if I didn't own as many blushes as I did, I would consider actually purchasing another color because I love the different textures in here and even the different finishes, despite the satin blush not being as like shimmery as I would like. But really great product, really high quality from Sephora collection here. A couple different pressed powders. I had tried this prior a while back, but I rediscovered it when I went on that Jane Iredale trip. So I do want to talk about the Pure Pressed Base, which is one of their longest standing products, one of their best sellers, and I get it now. And I fell in love with this powder specifically when one of their makeup artists used it on me to set my makeup, and I was like, my skin looks so smooth and airbrushed, and it was this powder. So I've been loving this for setting my makeup. Now this can be used as a mineral foundation for the face. It's going to give lighter coverage, and I have preached how much I love powder foundation, but I have not been using powder foundation lately. But I do like a powder foundation right now to set my makeup because I feel like it just makes the skin look really airbrush and perfected. It's not a lightweight thing, but it locks the makeup in. But I really do feel like this gives such an airbrushed appearance to the skin. But it's also beautiful as a light, natural powder foundation if you're into that. I can't believe I haven't been using powder foundations as much lately, but I've been loving this to set my makeup, and because it's a foundation, it does have a little bit of extra color, so I like this lighter shade to brighten up the areas of my face, but I get the hype now. This is a beautiful smoothing powder that's multifunctional. I actually do have a second powder foundation, interestingly enough, even though I haven't been using them. I did use this a few times as a powder foundation because this is like a true fuller coverage powder foundation. Jane Iredale is a little bit more light and natural and beautiful to just with a kabuki brush throw on. This one is like you mean business even with a powder foundation. A few months ago, MAC reformulated their OG Studio Fix Powder Plus foundation. It had been so long since I've used the original one. I don't even know if I've ever used the original one, if I'm being honest. I was really young if I did. So I can't speak to the reformulation, but this is a powder foundation that means business. It can pretty much give you a full coverage look if you pair it with the right base products. And it's gorgeous, you guys. It is a gorgeous powder foundation. Lately, how I've been using it is just like the Jane Iredale to set the makeup. This one just means a little bit more business. It's a little bit more hefty. It's a little bit more coverage, but it's also so beautiful to set the makeup. Dare I say maybe even a little smoother than the Jane Iredale, but she's thick, she's creamy, but she's a beautiful powder foundation. And even though I haven't been preaching my own word, don't sleep on a good powder foundation. These MAC ones, well, this MAC one is beautiful. I use the shade N4. And then to finish off Complexion, I have 3 different setting sprays. So I have 2 from the same brand because Hard Candy did a lot of setting sprays. They have more than just these. These are the ones that I've been testing. So the first one is the Glow on Lock setting spray. This is kind of a dupe, if you will, for the Iconic London. Really does make my makeup look more glowy. I mean, I think it did add an illuminating finish to the skin. You just need to be careful because this can affect wear time. When it comes to these glowier setting sprays, they're not actually setting. They're like finishing the look, which can disrupt the wear time, which is the case with this, but it's not bad. I have dry skin though, so keep that in mind. But this does give a little extra glow to the skin. But the one that I've been using a little bit more than that one is the Grip on Lock setting spray. I actually like applying this prior to my makeup. I feel like it makes my skin a little too wet and it almost unsets my makeup when I use the Grip on Lock on top of my makeup. This is really beautiful with hydration, which is why I like to apply this before I do my makeup. If I don't want something too heavy, I just want a light spritz, I will do this. It also adds a slightly tacky base not really anything crazy, but that's why I like to apply my makeup over top of it. It doesn't grip the makeup and make it difficult to blend. But when I put it on top, I do find my makeup moves a little bit more. So don't love it on top, but love it underneath makeup. And then the last setting spray, this one has just been sitting in my drawer. It does the job, but it doesn't stand out. It's not a game-changing setting spray by any means, but if you didn't know, MAC has a Fix Plus that's made to make makeup stay longer. And does it make my makeup last longer? I really can't say. I have no clue, honestly. I think it surely does a better job than the original Fix Plus, which is not supposed to make makeup last longer anyways, but this has those ingredients to help the makeup stay longer, to set the makeup, but it does nothing like monumental, honestly. There are so many better long-lasting setting sprays. If you truly need a longer set, I wouldn't go for this, but this might be good for somebody with dry skin because it should make makeup last longer. I haven't noticed it making a big difference on me, but it definitely does way more than the original. So just a meh product, I would say. All right, let's work our way into eyebrows. 2 eyebrow gels, and you know I hate to stray away from my favorite, but I have been for the sake of the review, you know? So the first one that I've been trying, the demo is gonna make you laugh. I look a mess. But it's been the Thrive Cosmetics Instant Brow Fix. So they say this is a semi-permanent eyebrow gel. There's nothing permanent about this. You can just take a makeup wipe and wipe it off. But it's a tinted brow gel, which I do not like tinted brow gels really. I don't incorporate them into my routine very often unless I'm going for a super natural day because I like to shape my brows with a brow pencil. That being said, in the world of tinted brow gels, this is a very, very nice one. So in order for me to use a tinted brow gel, this must be the absolute first thing that gets put on top of my face because I just run it through my brows without a worry. I get it all over my face. I look crazy, and then I take a makeup wipe and kind of clean and shape it. And so we're able to get a nice deeper color, but it just looks a little messy to me. Not this product in particular, but just a tinted brow gel in general. But that's how I use a tinted brow gel. I'll use a tinted brow gel for really natural makeup days where I don't want that sculpted, defined look, which is not often. So that's why I don't use these very often. But in the world of tinted brow gels, this one's really good. I don't find that it looks too clumpy in the brows. And then the gel itself actually has a decent hold as well. So this will hold its shape. So if you like a tinted brow gel, this is a good one. Not too clumpy, not too wet, not too thick, and holds the brows well. But is this going to enter my everyday routine anytime soon? No, but it does pass the test. And then the other one that I've been using, this one is interesting from Grande Cosmetics. It's the Grande Brow Laminate Brow Styling Gel. Now this one is a little bit of work. You got to put a little bit of effort into it because it can be messy. I do recommend to use it with the spoolie brush that it comes with. So I really, really do like it, and I think it does a great job with shaping the brows. That said, there's a little bit of a learning curve to it. It's a little goopy. I had to mix it at first when I first opened the product. Stick the spoolie in, and I mean, get messy with it. Get it in the brow in all directions, and then let it set for like 30 seconds. This is another product where you want to use a makeup wipe around the brow first because if the product dries on the skin, it will peel the makeup off. It will almost come off like glue. So you want to get all that additional residue off of the skin. So just like the tinted brow gel, do this absolutely first. After about 30 seconds, you'll find that the gel will get a little bit more tacky, and then that's when you're able to go in and fully shape the brow. And then that's how I get this really lovely sculpted brow look. That it's not the strongest hold in the world, but it holds up well enough. I have particularly stubborn eyebrows, so it does fall a little bit here sometimes, but it's, I don't want to say gooey, but you're able to just go in and kind of fluff it up throughout the day, and it readjusts itself very, very nicely. It doesn't get rock hard or anything. It stays a little gummy, so the brows are flexible, which I know a lot of you guys will really like, and it gives a much fuller appearance to the brow. Like, look at this compared to the Thrive, and the Thrive is very good, but look at this. This is crazy. So if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of time with a little bit of learning curve, this is a very cool, very good product. I think it would be really great for mature eyebrows as well because it just adds that fullness back into the eyebrow. Now this product's very interesting. I unfortunately don't think the quality is there with this, but it was almost a really cool idea. Well, it is a cool idea, but almost a really cool product from Buxom. These are the Flip Side Shadow and Liner Duo. So these are interesting because it comes with a shadow and then a matching liner of color stories that they coordinated together. Let me show you the colors that they have first. Pretty Penny, Back to Black, Burgundy Bestie, Dolly Days, Totally Taupe, Champagne, and Chocolate. So the one that I put on for today is Pretty Penny. Now I find with the shadow side, I don't like this because it's literally just a sponge and then the powder is on the inside. So you have to keep going back in. And I don't get fallout with this necessarily, but I feel like this is just not gonna last very long. These work better when you have a base shadow underneath. I find on bare lid, it gets really creasy and fades really, really quickly. So I put Natasha Denona eyeshadow on today as the base and I just use this as the lid color. You can see it's already creasing a little bit, which I'm okay with a little bit of a crease because I have a crease there. But this fades, this creases, and then the liner side, while very easy to apply, smudge, move around, do what you want with, again, just fades throughout the day. So this does not have the longevity. I did not end up loving this product as much as I was hoping to, so I don't recommend this, unfortunately, because they are really beautiful. They had so much potential. Next up, I have the Lash Fixation Mascara from Jane Iredale. These are a tubing mascara. Unfortunately, not my favorite mascara. You know I have particularly weak, boring, horrible, tiny lashes. This just doesn't do it any favors. So I'm somebody who's extremely picky with mascaras, so do keep that in mind. But it doesn't give me the volume, doesn't give me the length, doesn't give me the hold that I want. It's not a terrible mascara. I just have terrible lashes and can only use these top shelf mascaras. It's great that it's a tubing mascara because it will come off with water. It comes off very easily. But just unfortunately, my lashes don't jive with this. Today I actually used the brown mascara, which I rarely do, and it still has a lot of depth to it. So that sums it up for eyes. Let's move on to the lip portion. So I've been loving, absolutely loving, dying over these Rephr Beauty Soft Definition Longwear Lip Liners. These are so easy to apply. They do have that softer effect on the lips, but it's just enough. It doesn't matter. It lasts a long time and the colors are gorgeous. I have fallen in love with every single one of these. I love the lightest shade Honey for an everyday natural lip with just a peach gloss over top. Almond is like that perfect contour shade. Fig is like that more bold pinky lip but still very wearable. And then Mocha, obviously, I actually don't use this one as much because I don't use a dark brown lip liner, but it's really gorgeous. Stunning lip liner formula. Stunning shade collection. Ali, you did it with this formula. I have not been able to put these down. These are awesome. And I do like their softer, soft focus finish and edges. It's not too soft because it does add enough definition, but it's still perfect for every day. Now, something I'm not loving, not one bit, for my lips, it's from Makeup Revolution. It's the Lip Shift ink. This is kind of their dupe on this, I can't say, Sashao, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. That viral lip liner where you apply it, it's black, it looks crazy, and then you peel it off. I just don't like lip products like that. I always find it looks messy on me. It doesn't look good. I feel like it looks good on everybody else. I mean, I think this is a very good interpretation of what they're literally copying. You'll see, I just did the demo on the back of my hand. It does last a long time. I just hate the look of these on me. And I find it always looks uneven. And I just like a regular lip liner better. So, not for me. But I think they did a good job for what it was. It did what it's supposed to do. Now, some glosses that I've been using are these really pretty glosses from Chantecaille. I don't know what this shade is. The sticker fell off. The pinky iridescent one, but the golden one I demoed was Gleam. And then Love is this light sheer pink. Now, don't buy all three of these. These are very, very sheer, but these are a beautiful hydrating gloss formulation. But you know, Chantecaille is expensive. You don't need to run out and purchase these, but these are pretty. I think they were like a spring launch, and I've enjoyed them. They're hydrating, but they're just a gloss formula at the end of the day. I don't think there's anything super special about them that you need to run out and buy them, but I obviously don't have anything bad to say about them either. They're very pretty. They've just kind of been in my drawer. I've reached for them periodically, enjoyed them. They were hydrating, they were glossy, but nothing that knocked my socks off either, so I wouldn't encourage you to spend the money on them, but they're pretty. That's how I normally feel about Chantecaille, except for that gel foundation. That one is worth it. But the glosses, not a must-have from the brand, but they're nice. And then the last product that I have is from the summer collection from Oden's Eye, just their overall lip collection. So they launched not new formulas. You know I love their lip formulas. So in the yellowy and pinky packaging, you're gonna get their gloss formula, which is full pigment and beautiful. I love this one. And then also their matte lip stains, which are that putty kind of formula, clay-like, that you spread on the lips. It's kind of dry, but it's really blurring, and it stains the lips underneath. Beautiful. My only critique with the line overall, I feel like the colors are very, very warm, just not colors I personally would love. There's particular colors in here that I like, but generally speaking, they all kind of pull a little red on my lips, so I didn't love the colors this time around. Right now though, this kind of warm nude combo is beautiful. For the matte shade, I have Cream Petal down. Just kind of spread that around. And this one is kind of cool. It's not orange at all. Not cool toned, but you see what I mean. You see what I'm putting on my lips. And then Lily Latte for that gloss. So love the formula of these, but this wasn't my favorite colors that they launched. So I hadn't reached for them very often, but you can't go wrong with the formulas. But they have a ton of colors that you can check out on the website. So while this wasn't my favorite collection of colors, still the same beautiful formulas. And I really like the combo that I did today with these. So still encourage you to try this formula. And there we have it. I don't think these reviews were so speedy today. But, but we have a speed reviewed 20 products. Those are my final thoughts. All of these are now getting out of my speed reviews drawer, making more space for more products. These are going into general population. So I'll have all of the products that I linked down below for you guys in the description box to check out if you're interested, as well as tagging them. If you've tried any of these products, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and talking the talks with the makeups. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys, have a good one.
It's delicious.